Hello everyone, myself Deepa Singh, working as assistant professor in Gyan School of Pharmacy, SG Bridge, Jaipur. Today we discuss about our next topic, that is aerosol. So in this lecture, you should know about what is aerosol and different types of aerosol and which formulation covered in this formula aerosol type. So you should know about all these things in aerosol. It's a topic of industrial pharmacy, 1/5 semester subject. Before starting this topic, you should know about some learning objects. So in this learning object, we should know about brief introduction about the aerosol, including definition, description part, and the introduction and complete detailed description about the aerosol. What is the aerosol and why you are using this and that particular formulation. And production of aerosol, how you produce and how the production manufacturing of aerosols takes place, which excipients are involved for the production of aerosols. So different manufacturing process or production procedure for the aerosols. Next is excipient used in aerosol. Which excipient you use for manufacturing of aerosol? Or example of these excipient and how you select these excipients. All excipients are suitable or not, or if there is some certain condition, if excipients are required to be changed or take any other alternative excipients. So in this condition, how you select the alternative excipients, you should know. And the next is evaluation parameter of aerosol. How you evaluate these aerosol, different quality control tests for evaluation of aerosol and the quality control test for aerosols. Next is definition of the aerosol, or what is the aerosol. So in definition part, pharmaceutical aerosol is defined as a pressurized container in which solid particle or liquid droplet constituent the dispersed phase and gases in the continuous phase. Means we do not say that it's in liquid form or solid form or those maybe gaseous form, but it is a combination of more than one type. And in this, we are using some pressurized system, some perfume and inhalers also come in aerosol, which packed in bottle or applied a certain specific pressure. So it is a pressurized system. Main important thing is that aerosol are the pressurized container or pressurized formulation in which solid particle or liquid droplet, maybe some solid particle or maybe you can also use some liquid droplet constituent dispersed in the phase or maybe dispersed in that a continuous phase, and these continuous phases in gaseous form. So it is a maybe combination of gases and liquid as well as gaseous and solid particles. So just the selection of that particular state is depend on the type of the aerosol. It may be solid or maybe liquid or gaseous and continuous phase. So system that depend on the power of compressed or liquefied gas to expel the content from the container. In aerosol, we are mainly apply some pressure or some power to compress that particular aerosol so that complete material get expel out or maybe remove from your aerosol or for that particular content according to requirement. So this aerosol are the compressed or liquefied gases types which can easily expel out the content from the container, or we can say that you can easily push out the specific container. Due to the easy compress or easy handle system of aerosol are you can easily handle or expel out the required amount of the formulation. These aerosol may be medicated or non-medicated depending on the type of aerosol. You can easily handle, or some meter dose inhalers are also available in market, and these aerosols are recently modified in this specific or required amount of dose only expel out to that particular aerosol container, and you can easily use that particular amount of dose. And in this introduction part of the aerosol, pharmaceutical aerosol is defined as aerosol product containing active ingredient dissolved, suspended, or emulsified in a propellant or mixture of the solvent. And propellant are intended for oral, topical, or administration into eye, nose, ear, and rectum. In introduction or definition part, we can say that aerosol is not available for single purpose. It is available for a number of problem or a number of routes. And in this, mainly active ingredient is your drug. And these active ingredient or your API or drug may be suspended. Not necessary that it may be always suspended, or maybe in a dissolved condition, or maybe in an emulsified condition. So these conditions may be vary, maybe suspended, maybe dissolved, or maybe an emulsified contain solution or your drug in a proper propellant. Propellant is very important excipient in your aerosol. It's a gaseous system. This helps to form the good quality formulation, and your material, your API drug easily suspend or maybe emulsified or dissolve in that particular propellant. So these are the propellant which contain your drug, and mixture of a solvent also available in the aerosol. And in this mixture of solvent and propellant are intended for oral. It's not necessary that aerosols are available only for oral dosage form. For oral is example like inhalers, but it is also available for topical administration. Some spray which is maybe used for anti-inflammatory or as a pain relief, like volume spray, or so many spray are available in the market. So these are the topical spray, and inhalers are the oral formulation. Or other than this, the topical and oral formulation, some other formulation you can also use for specific sites like eye, nose, ear, and rectum. These routes are also you can say that prefer aerosols, or you use aerosol for particular disease or administration through that particular site, maybe eye, nose, ear, or rectum. So discovery and history of aerosol. Aerosol first discovered in 1942. In 1942, first aerosol was developed for insecticides, mainly these aerosol that discovered in 1942 or first discovered aerosol is not for medicated purpose, for not in human use, but it is used for insecticides or acts as insecticides and discovered in 1942. And now, after this 1942, next aerosol that discovered in 1950. Second aerosol discovered 1950 is for topical administration was developed, mainly for applying outer layer or onto the skin, or for topical apply, maybe some spray or maybe some inflammatory pain relief spray. So second aerosol that is discovered in 1952, and it is used for topical administration or for topical purpose. Next, in 1955, after 5 years, it again revised, and some more recent aerosol are formed. In this aerosol for local activity in respiratory tract was developed, that is epinephrine, means some emergency situation like heart attack or any other respiratory problem. Aerosols are discovered, and these aerosols are for mainly local activity in the respiratory tract, and which is developed in 1955. An example of these aerosol is like epinephrine. Epinephrine type of the aerosols are discovered firstly in 1955. These are for local activity in your body in respiratory tract. Next is advantages of aerosols. So these, according to advantages, aerosols are very good type of the formulation. It has a large variety of uses or advantages. There's no specific or trained person is required. You can easily administer the required amount of the drug with the help of these aerosol, or easy to handle. Dose variation is also less. So in this advantages, first advantages is a dose can be removed without contamination of the material. Means when you apply the pressure, specific amount or required amount of the volume that easily expel out. It is not necessary that it may be contact the surrounding environment or get contaminated, or you are taking a contaminated formulation. So it is easily removed. Specific required amount of sterilized material or sterilized formulation, which is free from contamination or environmental contamination, because there may be less chances or no chances of contamination due to aerosol form. Next advantage is when sterility is important factor, it can be maintained while dose is being dispersed. It is also a sterile form, or sterility of that particular aerosol is also maintained, because we are not exploring or opening complete container. We are just applying a pressure, a specific amount of pressure, and easily close the container or aerosol, so that less chances of that contaminate or maybe affect due to the environmental surrounding contamination. It is a more sterile or more sterile form available formulation. Next advantages of aerosol is the medication can be delivered directly to the affected area in desired form, like localized action. Means no need to take the drug and it goes to blood circulation and reaches to complete body, but you can directly apply to that specific area where you requirement, or where you show the effect or local effect, so that you easily spray on that particular area and that is specific area that will require the show effect, so that it easily provide the localized effect to that particular area. No need to take the drug and it goes to blood circulation, reaches to complete whole body, but it show effect on that particular area by applying in a desired affected area. Next is irritation produced by mechanical application of the topical. medication is reduced or eliminated. Means some formulation may be show irritation or may mechanically not applicable easily, or topically medication is not reduced or eliminated. In this condition, aerosol may be show less irritation or don't produce any irritation, and mechanical application of a topical medication is reduced by or eliminated by that particular aerosol. Next is easy and convenience of application. Means no trained person or no specific application is required. You can easily spray out these aerosol, so that convenience and easily apply that particular formulation to particular site. So no need for some trained person or specific convenience application is required. An application of a medication in thin layer, when you apply these type of formulation, it form very thin layer, so that it can show good quality effect or easily effect, and easily can these type of aerosol easily form very thin layer, which is acceptable by anyone. So no need to form or you apply by your hand. You just compress or pressure is applied, and it forms very thin layer onto the skin. Next is rapid response to the medicament. Means it also produces rapid response compared to any other formulation. Or response is also observed and fast. In this example, like inhalers, inhalers are show the effect in within the seconds or within the minutes. So these aerosol type of the formulation also show the rapid response of the medicament or fast effect of that particular drug. Next is bypass first effect. No first pass is effect observed, or first pass effect is bypassed by these aerosols type of the formulation. So we can say that overall these aerosols are a very good quality formulation according to reduce the irritation or show the good effect or stability purpose, or easy to apply, also show good quality or medicament effect, and easily form one thin layer and don't affect from surrounding, and always you receive the good sterile condition of the formulation. So these aerosols are the very good formulation for your application, but there's some advantage, maybe it's the costly or any other advantages. Otherwise, this overall aerosol formulation is very good quality. You can prefer this type of the formulation. Next is disadvantages of the aerosol. So every formulation has some disadvantages. According to this, aerosol also have some disadvantages. So in this disadvantages, first is expensive. And due to large treatment or large amount of propellant are used, and more sterile condition is required. So these aerosols also have a costly or cost of production of these aerosols also require more. So first disadvantages, it's expensive compared to a normal formulation. Inflammability means due to presence of large amount of a gas or solvent which is easily catch the flame, so that there may be chances that some explosion is also takes place due to the inflammability. It's take away always from fire or any heating condition. So these aerosols are also inflammable. Next is toxicity. Toxicity is also more compared to any other formulation due to presence of large amount of gases. So toxicity of these aerosols is also more. And next is explosibility. Explosibility in this, mainly we can say that your aerosols are containing some propellant, and propellant are nothing but the alcohol containing gases. So they are easily catch, or maybe you can say that easily catch the fire when it come contact with the fire or any other heating source. So it may show any explosion or explosibility in nature. So these are the advantages of aerosol, which maybe show more dangerous problem due to expensiveness, less consumer or customer prefer, or not everyone buy this aerosol, or inflammable or exploitative nature. So you take more precaution, or extra precaution is required for handling of these type of aerosols, as in toxicity is also more observed compared to any other type of the formulation. Next is classification of aerosol. So classification of aerosol depending on the type of delivery or maybe type of excipient that is used. So in this classification, first is based on the form. Which form is available of aerosol, or different type of the formulation. Maybe it's available in a solution form, suspension form, or emulsion form. In previous slide, we already see that the different type of the formulation in aerosol may be available in a solution form, maybe available in a suspension form, or in an emulsion form. So depending on the base of the form, which state is available. First type is for maybe suspension, solution, or emulsion, and second type is based on phases. So this is mainly depend on two-phase, three-phase, or which of the ingredient are present in that particular aerosol for phases. So in this First is two phase. In this two phases are present. One is vapor phase and second is liquid phase. Means only gaseous and liquid phase are present. And two phase system and vapor plus liquid combination are observed in two phase system. Next is three-phase system. In three-phase system, there is three-phase also ingredient you are using. One is vapor, that is your gaseous. Second plus is your aqueous phase, that is water, and next one is propellant. So in this, there is a three-phase. So you can classify these aerosols also depending on the phases. Two-phase or either three-phase. In two-phase only liquid or vapor, and in three-phase it may be vapor or aqueous or propellant. In aqueous it may be water. Next, third type is based on the product delivery. These aerosols are maybe depend on different delivery or responsible for show the different delivery, because every formulation don't have the same property to spray out or compress out. Some are spread out or expel out in a form, or maybe some are in a droplet form, or some are in any other solution form or gaseous form. So based on the product delivery, you can also classify these aerosols. And in this first is the spray. And this aerosol is easily expelled out in a spray form, and in this particle size 50 micron in diameter. Means very less size of the particles are present in a spray form, or aerosol which is expelled out in a spray form. In this spray form, particle size is only 50 micron and size, or maybe less than, very small in size. Next is foam and semi-solid. Means when you expel out, your product is expel out through that particular aerosol in the form of foam and semi-solid dosage form. So in this foam and semi-solid dosage form, your particle size may vary, or it increase little bit compared to your particle size in this spray form. It does depend on 200 micron in diameter. Means you can consider that product expel out in the form of foam and semi-solid is 200 micron in diameter. Next is based on application. Application means mainly for purpose, or which purpose you are applying aerosol, maybe for some nasal, eye, or any other topical application or inhalational purpose. So these are also comes in this aerosol category. So based on application, we are applying for topical purpose, for maybe inflammatory or painkiller, or inhalation means for emergency condition in respiratory problem, and intranasal for mainly for an nasal problem or nasal irritation type of the problem. So based on the application, you can easily classify these aerosol, which route is you prefer for application. So according to different property or different nature, we are classifying these aerosol in first base form, which type of the foam is released, based on the phase. So in based on the phase, we are considering two phase or three phase, and next is based on the product delivered. Means how is particle delivered in a spray form or foam, or maybe in a semi-solid form. Next is based on application. In this topical inhalation intranasal application we are consider. So these are the example in the picture. First aerosol is a spray form. You can see that these aerosols are expelled out in a spray form, or you can easily identify these aerosol expelled out through a spray form. And next, this is the actuator. Actuator is a part of the aerosol that you can easily expel out the product, or some maybe we can say that it's a cap part of the aerosol. So this is an example or diagram of the actuator, and it's a cross section may be removing part of the actuator, and it is completely compiled form of the actuator. These actuators are available in different form according to type of the formulation or type of the aerosol. And next is the foam type. This one is the spray type, and this one is foam type. In foam type, you can easily see that it expel out the foam, which is completely cover that particular area, and it is expel out in the form of a spray. So according to type of the formulation, it will be spray form or foam form, or there's different part in this actuator image is this one. Next is component of the aerosol packaging. So there's different component which is responsible for manufacturing of aerosol. So in this component, we can say that part of the aerosol, or which part is responsible for manufacturing of the aerosol. So component of aerosol are like propellant. Propellant is one of the example of the aerosol component. Next is container. In this container, maybe that particular container or bottle that is required for packing of that particular formulation in aerosol. Wall is also part of the aerosol. Actuator Actuator is how you control, or it's also one of the part of the aerosol. Next is product concentrate, means how much concentrated your product, or how can easily concentrate your product. Next, we discuss these components one by one. One is propellant, and propellant we already see that these are the gases, which is a very important part of your aerosol. Without these propellant, you can't manufacture these aerosol, and it is available in different form, and different types of propellant are available according to requirement. So these propellant are the nothing but the gases. So in propellant part, first they are the compressed gases at 70 to 80 psig. Means you can say that we are using some compressed gases, that is, as a propellant, and these are applied at 70 to 80 psig pressure. Next is they expel the content of the container through wall by applying the force. Means when you applying the specific required amount of the force or expel out the product, so that it can easily apply or maybe remove or expel out through that particular container when you apply the specific amount of the force. So it can easily expel out, no need to require any specific pressure or specific pressure, easily expel out at particular force or pressure. Next is they help in maintaining the proper pressure in the container, are also considered as an important element in the formulation. Means not only to maintain the proper formulation or expel out, but also maintain the proper pressure into the container so that you can easily expel out that particular concentration in the formulation. And propellant used in the form of liquefied gases and compressed gas. These propellant are further divided into categories. One is liquefied gases, second is compressed gas. These type of two gases are available for propellant, and these propellant are compressed gases applied 70 to 80 pressure and easily expel out through the particular aerosol container, and also maintaining a pressure of your aerosol container as well as important element in your formulation. Without the propellant, you don't formulate your aerosol type of the formulation, and it is available in two forms. One is liquefied gases, second is compressed gases. These are the two types of the propellant. Now we discuss this one by one. First is liquefied gases. It's the first type of the propellant, and in this widely used in the formulation of aerosol. We can say that largely used or widely used propellant are the liquefied gases. We use in large amount, and because they are capable of dispensing active ingredient in the form of the fine mist. Means when you expel out the product or applying the pressure, it can easily expel out the specific or required amount of the active ingredient, which is available in fine mist form. Due to this fine mist form, it can easily show the effect, and it's available in a fine particle or fine mist form. And liquefied propellant are usually actually gases which exist in a liquid under pressure. Means these liquefied gases are not in liquid nature, but they are available in the gaseous in nature, and they are exist in liquid under the pressure. You apply some specific pressure under the liquid or under that particular condition, and whenever the product is dispersed from the container, part of a liquid occupied the head space. Means when you require to expel out the product or a specific product from that particular container, so you easily expel out that container or easily disperse out from the container, whereby the part of occupies liquid in the head space. There's some gas present or liquefied and gas present in the head space of the container, so that you can easily expel out that particular desired required amount of the aerosol due to easily dispensing or this easily expel out in the particular amount of the container. Next is in this way, head space is always occupied by gas, which maintain a constant pressure, and performance of the spray is also maintained. Means these type of formulation or these type of aerosol is present in the head space or top part of your container aerosol, and due to this head space present, it can easily occupy by gas, or you can easily occupy by gas by the aerosol, which maintain the constant pressure or a specific constant pressure is maintained under particular aerosol, and performance of spray is also maintained. Due to specific pressure or constant pressure, we can say that the performance of the spray or aerosol is also maintained, and it easily expel out in a specific amount or specific performance. Now, due to constant pressure, when you apply the specific amount of the pressure, it can easily expel out, and it is available in the top of the most or head space part of the aerosols. Next is liquefied gases is further divided into three categories or three subtypes. So in this liquefied gases, First type is chlorofluorocarbon. Next is hydrofluorocarbon, and C1 is hydrocarbon. So these are the subtypes of the liquefied gases. And these first is chlorofluorocarbon is further divided into three categories. Means your propellant are divided into two parts. In this two parts, first is liquefied gases, and these liquefied gases further divided into three parts, that is chlorofluorocarbon, fluorocarbon and hydrocarbon. Out of these three, there's the first type, chlorofluorocarbon, is further divided into three parts, that is trichloromonofluoromethane. It is also known as propellant 11. And these type of chlorofluorocarbon propellant type are largely used due to the availability or suitability. These type are the chlorofluorocarbons are largely used, or we can say the most popular propellant. And in this first type is propellant 11. It is also known as trichloromonofluoromethane. Next type is difluoromethane. This is also known as propellant 12. Only there's instead of a tri, there's di group is added, and instead of monofluoro, there is a difluoromethane, and it is also known as propellant 12. Next third type is propellant 114. This is the third type of chlorofluorocarbon, that is propellant 114, and dichlorotetrafluoroethane. This dichlorotetrafluoroethane is also known as propellant 114. So these are the three types of the chlorofluorocarbon which comes in the category of liquefied gases. Next, second type is hydrofluorocarbon. This is the second chlorofluorocarbon, and in this hydrochlorofluorocarbon is due to several disadvantages. Carbon fluorocarbon, they have been replaced by hydrofluorocarbon. There is some disadvantages in previous one or A part. So this A part or first previous one is replaced by second one to overcome this problem. And the second type is hydrofluorocarbon, which is replaced by first one. And several propellant like tetrafluoroethane, that is 134A, and heptafluoropropane, that is 227, has been developed, where these are the substituent of propellant 12. Means these is hydrofluorocarbon is also known as the substituent of 12 or 12 propellant, and it is further divided into different category. In this, first is tetrafluoroethane, that is also known as 134A, and second is heptafluoropropane, that is also known as 227, has developed in which substituent of propellant 12. And these propellant have some property as that of the propellant 12 and expel the solubility characteristics. Hence, according to property wise, these propellant 12 is also very good, and there is some accept solubility characteristic, or you can easily say that there is different property or some solubility characteristics are carry out to this propellant 12. Next is the third one, that is hydrocarbon in this category. So this third one is hydrocarbon. In this used to formulate a topical aerosol due to fulmination. Means it is also a specific type of the aerosol. In hydrocarbon type of the aerosol or hydrocarbon aerosol, mainly we are using for topical preparation or preparing the topical aerosol. So we are using this hydrocarbon due to fulminations, and in this used in the formulation water-based aerosol. Means suppose we are preparing some water-based aerosol or formulation which is water-based. So you can easily use this hydrocarbon, which because these hydrocarbon type of the propellant is dependent on the water-based aerosol or water-based type of the formulation. Next is they are immiscible with water. They are used in the formulation of three-phase aerosol system. Means they are maybe water-based aerosol, but they are immiscible with water, don't easily miscibilize or solubilize in water, and used in the three phases of the aerosol system. And due to their not easily miscibilize or immiscible nature in water, you use these type formulation three type of the phase aerosol system. In three phase of the aerosol system, we can see that first is they are using meter-dose inhalator. Topical administration means mainly we are preparing some meter-dose inhalator or dose inhalator which is required in emergency situation and expel out a specific required amount of the volume. That's why it is known as a meter-dose inhaler, or you can say that not large amount of the material is expelled out with the help of this meter-dose inhalator. And you can also use this hydrocarbon in topical administration also, as well as in meter-dose inhalator, and they have a widely range of solubility, chemical stable, and low order of toxicity. Yes, these are some of the advantages of hydrocarbon. These hydrocarbon have a wide range of solubility, or easily solubilized in almost all the excipient or major type of the excipient. So it have also good solubility as well as chemical stability. It is easily stable in chemical state, or chemical stability is also not show any type of the problem. Next is low order of toxicity, means some toxicity that is produced or maybe shown by aerosol is also less when used the hydrocarbon system, or in the hydrocarbon system, low type of the toxicity or no toxicity is observed. Next is physical property and chemical property of the aerosol. So these aerosol having a major ingredient or major excipient is a propellant. So instead of checking the aerosol property, we are checking the property of propellant. And in this physical property of propellant, that propellants such as 11, 12, 114 are known polar compound. So you see this three class and the synonym of this propellant 11, 12, and 114. So these three type of propellant are known polar compound or available in a known polar form, and they are miscible with known polar solvent as a desired temperature. Hence, you can say that these are easily miscibilized or easily solubilized in known polar solvent at a specified condition, a specified temperature, and due to ability to dissolve many substance, or it can easily uptake or dissolve many types of the substance. And they have a miscible with water. Has to make miscible with water, co-solvents such as ethanol are added. Means when we see the physical property, they are immiscible with water or immiscible nature in water. But due to some miscible with water or nature of this particular aerosol or co-solvent, such ethanol we also added in this aerosol. Next is chemical property of propellant. So these are chemically inert, non-inflammable and non-toxic. When we compare the other ingredient or other propellant or other type of the gases, so these propellant are chemically inert, do not show any chemical problem or chemical toxicity or any other chemical inertness. And non-flammable, not easily catch the fire. It is a non-flammable, so no need to take extra precaution or extra care during the handling of aerosol because it's non-flammable in nature. And non-toxic, as well as it also produce no or very less toxic effect compared to any other type of the aerosol. So it is also have no toxic or very less type of the toxic effect. Next is propellant 1111 undergoes hydrolysis giving HCl, hence it is not preferred in the formulation of aqueous product. There's a three type of the propellant. There's propellant 11, 12, and 114. Out of these three, less preferred is 11 number because there is some problem like hydrolysis, and when we are treating with HCl, hence it is more preferred in the formulation, not preferred in the formulation of aqueous product. So instead of these three type of the aerosol 11, 12, 114, most preferred or most commonly used propellant is propellant 11. Next, second gas. So compressed gas is the second type of the you can say that gaseous or propellant, and these are the two types. Previous one is further divided in three category, and these compressed gases is divided in two parts, that is soluble carbon gas and second is insoluble gas. So soluble and insoluble gases are verified according to type of the solubility. Insoluble gas, we are considering CO2 and N2O. These are the example of a soluble gas. And insoluble gases, there are also example like air, nitrogen, and argon. These are the example of insoluble gases. So these compressed gases is divided into categories: soluble, insoluble, soluble CO2 and 2O. And insoluble gases is air, nitrogen, and argon. And in this propellant like CO2, O2 are used as a compressed gases and helps to dispensing the product in the form of mist form and semi-solid. Means instead of the CO2, you can also use combination with oxygen or O2. When you use this CO2 and O2, it is used as a compressed gas in previous part or in previous type and helps in dispensing the product in the form of different dosage form or different dispersing product. So when we use this CO2 and O2, it can disperse out the product in easy way and available in a different form and dispersing the formulation in the mist form or foam form or semi-solid form. Next is in the carbon gas spray system. The liquid product is poured into the container and sealed. There's no specific treatment is required. Just pouring this liquid or the gases in that particular container, and we can seal out this container. Next is these carbon gas propellant is then filled under the high pressure into the container to the wall. Means these compressed gases are not filled by a normal condition. We are requiring certain high pressure or high condition, or condition may be changed. So in this we are filling, or these gases are filled in propellant with the help of high pressure into the container to the wall or with the help of the wall. Next, these compressed gases propellant occupy only the head space present above the liquefied product in the container. Means these compressed gases are not present in between the container or not below the container, but is available or present only the head space or head part of the propellant, and the wall value of aerosol can be opened. Liquid product is pushed out through the nozzle. Means when you open the aerosol or we apply the pressure onto the aerosol, the liquid product easily push out or expel out through the nozzle through that aerosol, or you can easily collect this aerosol with the help of particular aerosol. When we open or push out that aerosol, and material is expelled out through the nozzle. And after the explosion of a liquid product, amount of gas in the head space of the can remain the same and occupies more space, thus reducing the pressure in the container. Means there's some other explosion or more chances of explosion. So we are overcome these explosion chances due to this. After the explosion of liquid product in the amount of the gas, and the head space of the gas can still remain the same use and occupies more space. There's more space available, reducing the pressure in the container. And container is not completely filled with liquid product. Means these containers are completely free from or not fully filled with liquid product. And there may be some space are present to avoid these type of the explosion. There is some of the space so that easily pressure can occupy on the head space of the aerosol, so that provide enough head space of the gas propellant, and they are avoiding possible risk of bursting of the container. Means if you don't fill it overfill or maybe up to the required amount or completely, instead of this you make some space or leave some space in the head part, so that the pressure is generated or created only that head space or a head part, or you can easily reduce the possible risk of bursting of the container. Next is this one is diagram of propellant, which is containing gaseous propellant expertise pressure. So this is a container or aerosol container. In this, these areas are gaseous propellant or containing gaseous propellant existing pressure or at a particular pressure. And final pressure should seem as the initial pressure. And in this liquid a gas mixed with product helping the spray formulation. This liquefied type of the propellant or liquid form of the propellant, you can easily mix with gas type of the propellant or gas type of the formulation. Due to this, you can easily spray out a formulation with the help of aerosol. No problem is observed in this spray formulation. Next is product concentrate, solvent, and liquefied propellant. In this, there's product concentrate is formed, and these product concentration will be in the solvent form or and liquefied propellant may be in the two phases or maybe in a single phases, depending on the type of the formulation. So there's a product concentrated which is available in single or multiple form, or two phases, that is solvent and liquefied propellant. Next is a filling machine. So according to industrial level, these filling machine is very important, and it fill in within the minutes or within second aerosols in large amount. These processes continuous process in industrial level. So there's no automation in the machine. Specific required amount of the aerosol are filled and sealed out that particular container, and you can easily check the quality of that particular aerosol. Next is container. Which type of the container used for manufacturing of these aerosol, or which material used for manufacturing of these aerosol? So in this container, various type of the material are used in manufacturing of aerosol container. Different material are used for manufacturing of aerosol container depending on the condition or depending on the requirement. And in this container used in the formulation of aerosol should be standard high pressure. Hence, it should be standard high pressure or require very high pressure. And in this pressure, we can see that it is approximately 140 to 180 base IG pressure is required. And temperature is almost 54.42% degree Celsius is required. So this is the condition which you can select the container which have a very high withstand pressure or temperature, so that easily withstand the pressure or environmental condition. And next is type of the material used. So major type of the material that used in aerosol is your metal and glass. Largely aerosols are prepared with the help of a metal as well as glass, or maybe a combination of both. So in metal, there's two types of the metal container. You can say this is a aerosol container or aerosol diagram, which is made up of metal container or different type of the metal. So these metal type container is also available in two forms. One is tinted plated steel. And tin plated steel is the first type of metal material which is used in aerosol. And second is aluminum. Aluminum is the next type of metal material or metal container. So these are the two types: tinplated steel and aluminium. Example of metal type of the container or metal containing as aerosols. Next is a glass. Glass is also largely used and there may be less chances of interaction, more compatibility, and but there's requires some specific condition, more additional handling condition because it's very fragile in nature and easily break out, as well as weight wise is also very high. Otherwise, glass container are very good. They don't show any interaction or less chances of interaction and easy compatibility with your formulation. So according to they are used in first is plastic coated glass, second is uncoated glass. So these are the two types of the glass material which is used for aerosol preparation or aerosol of the particular container. After completing this lecture, you should know about learning outcome, which is related to today's topic or this lecture. If you know about complete information regarding the aerosol or completely understand the aerosol topic, so that you can easily maybe understand this topic or say that these outcome. So in this brief introduction about the aerosol, from a starting point, introduction and definition part of the aerosol, we should know about complete information of the aerosol, what is aerosol, which dosage form, and which type of the formulation is available, and which type of the solution is expelled out through this aerosol. So you know about this introduction about the aerosol. And next is production of aerosol. How we produce these aerosol or which parameter is responsible for production of aerosol, different techniques, and how we produce, which type of the material is expelled out, may form, mist, or in suspension or solution form, and how you are adding different propellant, and what are the propellant. So you should know about all the type of the propellant, including liquefied gases and compressed gases, and there are different types, both the gases, liquefied as well as compressed gases. And next is excipient used in the aerosol. In excipient part, we already see that different excipient. Out of this all excipient, the major excipient used in aerosol is your propellant. You can select proper good quality of the propellant according to a requirement or which type of the effect you require. So you should know about what is propellant and different subtypes with example of these propellant. Next is evaluation parameters of the aerosol, which in the next lecture. So after this completing, the next part is reference part of aerosol. So in reference part, first book is Ansel Pharmaceutical Dosage Form Drug Delivery System, 8th edition by Lois V. Allen, Nicholas G. Populus, Hava C. Ansel, published by VI Publication PVT Limited. Second reference is Textbook of Physical Pharmaceutics by C.V.S. Subramanian, published by Balla Prakash. Next reference is The Theory and Practice of Industrial Pharmacy by Leon and Lackman, Habers, Lieberman, Joseph L. King, 3rd edition, published by Legacy Publishing House. Next last reference is Martin, Physical Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Science, 5th edition by Patrick J. Senko, published by Lippercourt, William and Mitchell. So these references are very good reference. All books are good. You can use any one book or maybe a combination of all the books. This is the reference. After this reference, there's a question part which is related to this topic or this aerosol topic. So in this question part, which of the following is not true for ultrasonic nebulizer? This is also one of the part of the aerosol. In this ultrasonic nebulizer is present. So in this option part, the option is ultrasonic nebulizer use piezoelectric crystal vibrating at high frequency to produce the aerosol. Second question is ultrasonic nebulizer rarely on heat to thermally generate an aerosol. C question option is ultrasonic nebulizer may not be suitable for the formulation of biopharmaceutical that degrade by heat. Next and fourth option or D option, ultrasonic nebulizer produce aerosol from carefully formulated nebulizer solution. These are the four options. You can easily select any one correct option out of this four. Next question is for pressurized metered-dose inhalator or PMDI. Well, the following is not true. PMDI is emit aerosol at high velocity. B option is PMDI use liquefied gases as propellant. C option is PMDI may be formulated as solution or suspension. And next D option is PMDI cannot be used with spacer. These are the four options which is shows regarding the pressurized metered-dose inhalator or PMDI. If you know about what is PMDI, we already discussed this PMDI or pressurized metered-dose inhalator, so that you can easily select the correct option out of this ABCD option. It is a very simple question. The next question, which of the following is not true for typical dry powder inhalation or DPI? In this DPI are difficult to find those of the corporate. Next, B option is DPI require high velocity airflow to the device to aerosol to the powder. C is DPI liberate fine powder particle from the carrier particle upon inhalation. These are DPI can contain powder unit dose or reservoir. These are the 4 options regarding the DPI. You can easily answer or select any one correct option out of these 4 options. Next question, which of the following is not true for jet nebulizer? This is also type of the nebulizer. In this jet nebulizer is the jet. That's in this A option is jet nebulizer produce mist in a mist form type of the formulation. And B is a jet nebulizer high velocity gas flow to generate the Venturi effect and do the solution in the airflow. Next in C question option, jet nebulizer induce and decrease in the temperature of the nebulizer solution during operation. Next in B question, jet nebulizer are ultrasonic forces to produce the aerosol. So these are the 4 options regarding or depend on the jet nebulizer. Now you can easily select about this jet nebulizer correct option out of these 4 options. Next question is gases do not have a role in the form of pharmaceutical operation. A is the surface area measurement, B is lyophilization, C is distillation and dismelting. This is the 4 option regarding the pharmaceutical operation used in gaseous system. And for next question, an aerosol inhaled to the lungs, which is the following is not true. A is the airflow become the faster and more turbulence, the more deeply it is penetrate the lung. This is the particle of 5 micron above impact the proximal airway. Next, C option is sedimentation is the major mechanism of deposition for particle. D option is breath holding with enhanced deposition of some macron particle by diffusion. So this is the 4 option regarding this question for aerosol inhaler to the lungs use, which is not a true option. In this, we are selecting the not true option. Means read this question very carefully, then answer the question. Next question, under the ideal gas law, which of the following is not a correct assumption? Is the molecule occupy negligible volume? Means the gas volume are insensitive to change in pressure. Says no energy is lost when the molecule is colloid. And D option is force between the molecular are insignificant. So this is the 4 option regarding the ideal gas law. And in this, you can also select not in correct assumption. Next, 8th question regarding the material which is used for aerosol. This soda ash is also known as pure silica, B sodium carbonate, C is limestone, D is calcium carbonate. So this is the 4 option regarding the soda ash type of the container. You can easily answer the question after completing this topic. So thank you so much for watching and listening this video. Thank you everyone.